Hey guys, welcome back to another ladder series. This time it's Speed versus Soma, and it's a long one. I've got to practice my voice a little bit. Gotta warm myself up to what's coming later this week. Best of 7 series is starting. It's gonna be tomorrow, guys. So really soon. That's coming right up. I'll put the link in the description. It's going to be called the SOOP Duel Series. No longer the Super Saiyan games. SOOP did want their name in there. Originally, I thought that I was going to get to name it, but it is what it is. We got the SOOP Duel Series. I'll save that. The Super Saiyan games for maybe one of my own tournaments in the future. Who knows? Who knows? But we're going to be watching in this SOOP Duel Series. A lot of players like these two guys play for real cash and clout, not just ladder points, which is quite exciting. And it'll be 5 days per week, Wednesday through Sunday, North American time. It'll be starting around 8 p.m. 9 p.m. excuse me, Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Won't be exactly that for the first couple of days, but I think that's where we've settled on the time, the start time. So definitely go check that out. Again, link in the description. I've got to plug it a lot because I know that not many people are going to want to make a new account to go and watch that. But it really does help, guys. It's going to be massive. The impact that it will have should we get enough support for the English broadcast of that series. More great things could be on the way. Looks like he got a couple hits on, not just the one hit on this Marine. You can see that drone's taking some damage. Pretty standard opener on either side. It was a 12 hatch, 11 pool, and then 11 gas, so slightly later gas, but I don't think it's gonna make too much of a difference. Probably optimized a little bit better for a 1.5 hatchery play. And the 3 Marines, Naked Marines, with the 4th trailing behind, are gonna make their way over to the natural. Fortunately for Soma, he does have 4lings ready to rumble. He even starts a sunken colony out in the front, so maybe not sure what exactly he's up against. Decides to splurge, make that sunken colony just to ensure that he's going to be okay, but that's going to slow him down quite a bit. That's a lot of money, guys. That's 1 drone, not mining, plus the 75 for the crypt colony, and then the 50 for the sunken colony. So it's quite a lot of money in this early game. He may even opt to not throw down the 2.5 hatch now, just because of the sunken colony being forced. So not an optimal situation, but he's gonna have to work with what he's got. Some overlord's gonna be made here in a moment. They'll be ready to pop those 6 mutas coming up soon. Hasn't sent out a drone just yet, but is likely to do so. Go ahead and get that 3rd base running here relatively soon. Is he actually going to have the larva? I think he just barely gets the larva out in time. Just barely. And this drone... Okay, he actually does go for the 2.5 hatch still. Alright. So able to sneak that out. And he'll get the 6 mutas. Mineral boosting is something else. These Zerg players are so good at getting the optimal amount of money out of these drones. Even with the sunken colony, able to get the 2.5 hatch and make 6 mutas. Okay, he's got 5. So he actually didn't quite have enough larvae here. Not quite, but we'll see what kind of damage he can do regardless of that. It's the 4 factory follow-up. Go ahead and start that +1. I think he's still waiting on a little bit of gas to start range. Speed's range is going to be a tiny bit slow, but he's going to have a astounding amount of Marines quite early on. He's already got 12 Marines here at the front, and he's going to be adding on a lot more. 4 at a time. It piles up quick. These have such a low build time, such a quick build speed. And we'll see how 4Rex does against the 2.5 hatch. My experience, it's a pretty decent matchup for the Terran player. They're going to have so many Marines funneling out. It'll be really difficult to get this third base up while holding back these Marines with pure Mutalisk and Ling. They'll probably want to throw down a Hydralisk Den here pretty soon. Diving in now. What is this? 3, 4 SCVs that just got picked off and a Mutalisk died? Not the worst. Pretty reasonable. He wants to slow down speed here. And in fact, he's ahead in workers overall after that dive. So he's managed to cut production for quite a long time to get a massive drones out. Really has great saturation at this point. Even making more drones. Going to start his transition now. I think that Speed is being a little bit too passive. Maybe it needs to move out with this army. Force the trades a little bit better. Going to continue to poke at this barracks. With only 5 mutas, it's going to take a long time for that to do any damage. Scan in the natural. Gonna see that Queen's Nest. 4 sunken colonies get started. With the 4th sunken colony coming up, I'm curious if we're gonna just see a straight up dive for SCVs here out of Soma. Might be a mistake if he doesn't return back home with his Mutalisks. He could end up losing this game. He is gonna be able to delay the factory by quite a lot, which is seriously impactful. That is going to slow down the tech of Speed massively, but this army reaching the front is very scary. More sunken colonies are being finished. I don't know if even 6 sunken colonies are going to be enough though. That's a lot of bio. Okay, with the Lings coming forward too, I think he might be able to live. Oh, it's so close. It is so close. The Mutas are on their way back home. They're coming across the map right now, but it looks like he will bust. Does need to target those Marines, which are being targeted by the sunken colony. Trying to target down as many drones as he can. As the Mutalists come back home, he will clean this, but that was a lot of drone kills, guys. Speed making a heads-up call there to just start gunning down drones, as many as he can. In such a tense situation, I think it was the right call. Dropping his opponent down to just 22 workers. It's going to be hard for someone to make much of anything, and you can already see he's stacking up on his overall... I think he's actually forgotten about this. What are we seeing here? Okay, he has spent his money now. He started Lurker, so he was waiting for Lurker. Very important. Instead of optimizing for drones, he waits for Lurker upgrade to start first. Now he's going to start making a lot of drones. He gets the hive started as well. Now breaking in towards this main base. Marines are taking a beating. And meanwhile, over here in top left, there's 4 Marines. They're going to make it into this base. Oh my god, so much damage. What's in these eggs? Uh-oh. Uh-oh, that's 3 more kills. Taking a look back at the Terran base. Looks like he's stuck around for quite some time, actually. Just pulling back now. Is he going to be able to make it in time to save this hatchery? Lings are going to pop out here soon, but we're at 200 HP. 4 Marines, are they really going to be able to do it? They've got the +1, and there it is. He gets the hatchery in top left. Are you kidding me? After holding that attack into the natural, re-droning, getting his upgrades rolling, and doing some excellent harass, Soma still loses his hatchery in top left and finds himself in a terrible position. Looks like he did kill the barracks there, but that's not really going to make up for a lost third base. That's for sure. Will it go ahead and restart? Okay, starts a Nidus Canal on the retreating creep, which is excellent. We'll be able to at least connect this to the main base a little bit quicker that way. And it probably won't be even a little bit too soon, as Valkyries are now out and the Marine Medic group is looking powerful. A lot of Marine Medics pushing out across the map. That third base is going to be under threat soon. Ooh, he goes in for the kill on the Valkyrie, but Speed a little bit too quick on the draw. A little bit too strong with that Valkyrie micro. This guy is really making a name for himself when it comes to Valkyrie micro. One of the best in the business, that's for sure. And we'll be getting to a science facility. Whereas back home for Soma, Nidus Canal in the main, I love it. I really like to see Nidus Canal in the main, especially against players like Speed, who tend to do a lot of drop play. Just so much quicker to have all of your units in the main base and then quickly hop through and defend than it is to to bring units back from the defense here up into the main base. So much faster than trying to get them up this ramp. Just avoid going up and down ramps as much as possible. And so, I mean, this is probably going to end up paying off quite well for Scourge, trying to get some connections on these 4 Valkyries, but they're having a hard time. Really good splitting. Oh my gosh, coming in from a great angle. You can see that Speed was focused on exactly the same thing I was. Looking at those mutas on the left-hand side, and he gets blindsided by a couple of Scourge. Loses one of the Valkyries, but these Valkyries are kind of a distraction tactic at the moment. Whereas the main attack is going to come from these 2 dropships, which are heading out on the map right now. One command center being made. No 4th command center just yet. Gonna try to push in here with these Valkyries. Oh, can he actually pull this back? Oh my gosh. I can't believe he was able to keep all of those alive. I believe he did get spotted though with the drops. The problem is, how do you even stop this? Well, with Lurker and Plague, Dark Swarm, I mean, I guess you can stop it pretty simply with those few tools. We'll end up losing one of the Lurkers on the left-hand side, but a really nice defense overall. And Speed will be pushed back. Soma hanging in there. He has the double upgrades rolling. It was looking like a shaky position when he lost that third base, but he managed to drone hard enough and he killed enough Marines, I think, with that attack into the natural, that Speed doesn't quite have the momentum to beat him straight up. Oh, he didn't get the hit kill. Oh my gosh, the Scourge not getting the kills on those 2 dropships. He had such a good opportunity to just shut that play down completely, but kind of missed out. Still, doesn't really feel like there's going to be much damage from these dropships. It does there. Really not feeling that way at all for the moment. Speed is looping around the left-hand side. Seems almost desperate to get in and deal some damage. He knows he was in a pretty good spot a little bit earlier, and he's gonna try and just get in here. Can he actually save the drop? He gets 1 dropship fully unloaded. The second gets most of the units out of it. Lurkers are gonna come back, defend that Nidus Canal. Dark Swarm on the drones. Very good stuff. Can he loop all the way around and maybe get the kill on this Nidus Canal? Ooh, Nidus Canal's gonna go down so fast. Meanwhile, Ling run by, hitting this third base. And Ling's here with Crack. It's going to work on these SCVs. Did manage to clear that up, but at the cost of the Nidus Canal. And so there's going to be a little bit of time before Soma has that reconnected. And 1 more Marine here inside that base. I guess he was tucked in the corner there. Finally does get sent out to deal some damage. Maybe gets a drone or something. Nidus Canal finishing up. Valkyries being sent back in to try and clear things. Is there a drop left over? I don't think so. Where did that dropship go? There it is. Dropship over there. Scourge coming out. They're going to try and dive on these. Okay, there we go. Oh my gosh, the drone line. Wait. Those drones needed to transfer, I guess. We could have waited for the Nidus Canal to finish and probably should have done so, but... Oh, go for the kill. Go for the kill. Oh my gosh. Hesitating there a little bit. And Speed picks up the slack. Lings on the counterattack once again. Looks like they're going to get found out. And more radiates will go down, getting rid of that. No, Defiler's still alive, actually. I thought that was cooked. I thought that was dead. 47 drones. Another 6 drones on the way. Really pumping up those drone numbers a lot. Getting prepared for this Ultralist transition. What is Speed doing back at home to prepare himself for that transition? He's got +3 on the way. Doesn't have +2 armor or anything like that. Prioritizing those attack upgrades is important. We have +2 yet? No. +1 with +2 just about to finish up. There it is. +2 is done. 1400 gas is banked. So he's going to have quite the wave of ultras when they finally do start to appear. I just heard a plague. Pretty decent one on the right-hand side. This Defiler looks like it might come from behind, potentially, to hit this. Uh-oh. Not enough stuff here. Dark Swarm goes down, but there is just Lings trying to defend. Is he going to be broken? Throws down a plague, accidentally hits his own hatchery. Stuff coming up from behind, but that Defiler's quite late. He's shooting down the Evolution Chambers, but actually Evolution Chambers don't even have any upgrades rolling. Mutas are going to come in and finally clear this, but quite a lot of drones were lost. Maybe he can go and deal some damage with an eraser trick over at this 3rd or 4th base, excuse me. What a few more drones going down. Speed lives for the chaos. He thrives on the chaos. He's created quite a bit of chaos in this game. However, this counterattack is looking powerful. Lurkers come running up. Darkstorm's going to go down right on top of this bunker. Lurker's going to get right on top of that. Mutas are preventing another base from going down to 6 o'clock, and they actually will end up dying. That command center will end up dying if it floats right into that. Looks like it won't. Marine's going to run by over behind these neural patches, but it's too much. Wait, what? He taps out? Oh my gosh. He taps out? Wait. Hello? I actually thought that was a Speed tap out. I thought Speed left this game. I am very confused, guys. I think Speed is too. Look at him scanning everywhere. He's like, are we sure we wanted to tap out there? He even had another base going. Didn't have any drones there just yet, but he was about to. This is only 6 Marines. That's the only thing that's attacking on Soma's side of the map. I guess he had to go to dinner or something. Well, that's a funny way to start the series off. And like I was saying, we have a lot of games between these two. And this is what I'm looking forward to not having to deal with the best of 7 series, by the way, guys, is we're going to actually have players playing for money and clout. So they will not be leaving games early. They're going to fight it out to the bitter end. At least that's what I hope. Anyways, for now, more ladder games between Beast and Speed. Game number 2, it's coming right up. Game number 2 in Soma, spawning here in the top right-hand corner. A little bit of an early exodus from that last game. He's going up against Speed once again. Speed down here in the bottom right. Yellow Terran. Looking fearsome. Was having a bit of a hard time in that last one. Felt like he lost control of that game a little bit after taking such a big lead. Killing that 3rd base. But I think these guys have they've played so many games. They play so many games on ladder. That's really why we have so many Soma versus Speed games on this channel, is they just play so many games that often, I mean, you're gonna have mistakes, right? You're gonna have times when you thought that you were down and out, And you definitely could have made a comeback. It is what it is. We're gonna have, what is this? 12, 11, 12 hatch, 11 pool, build a drone, 11 gas, and then 2 more drones on the way. So same build as the last time. Let's see what Speed has in store for us. This time putting the barracks on high ground. Not going to try to Mickey Mouse wall or anything like that. You can't actually make it work in this natural. We're gonna have that little break on the side. You can do, however, I believe at least you can do barracks. Supply depot comes in for the one shot, just taps him, gives him a little Hawk Tua, and he's gonna back off. Soma, pretty much same opener on either side as our first game. 3 Marines, once again, pressing their way out. Last time it was 3 with a 4th trailing behind. This time that 4th is going to be a little bit further back. We'll see if that forces out a sunken colony from Soma this time or not. I imagine not. Seeing 3 Marines coming in. I think you can see this anyway. Oh, maybe not. You actually can't see that. So will he wander up towards the high ground? No, not gonna go up that high ground. Or sorry, Speed not gonna wait on that high ground. Good target there. Immediately right-clicking down the first Zergling that he sees, gets the kill. Now can start to fall back with these Marines. Forces the sunken once again. This is almost a Zealot-esque way of playing, putting down that sunken colony. Not really what I expect out of Soma, but maybe he's working with a new idea. Maybe he's trying out something fresh. Not sure. Wow, that's a lot of SCVs heading into the gas. I guess that is 3 though. No, that's 4. Definitely looked wrong when he sent those in. So he's got 4 on the gas. That shouldn't be too big of a deal. Eventually he will correct that, and yeah, he does. More lings have been made, and actually no. Just the initial 3 up here at the front. That makes sense with the sunken colony. You don't want to be building any extra lings, that's for sure. And so we've got the 2 racks play. Academy on the way as well. This is going to be probably straight into a 3rd and maybe even a 4th racks. We've seen this type of style from Speed before. Pushing out this many Marines heading towards the natural, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Although you know what, he probably doesn't know that the sunken colony is even there. He doesn't have a comm set yet, so he's gonna get over here and see that there's a sunken colony and go, oh, all right, well, we're not doing that. Time to head back home. Need to wait for a medic, that's for sure. Kind of delay on this eBay. He's gonna get trapped back here. And we'll lose everything for free. Lose those 3 links, but he got some delay action going and he got a full scout. I guess that's acceptable for those 3 links. Mutas are out now. And no second sunken colony was forced. I think this is an alright situation for Soma. The 1 second colony ended up paying off, as it was indeed in the head of Speed to push out with early Marines this time. He wanted to naked Marine pressure, and that gets pretty much shut down by 1 sunken colony. You need a lot of lings to stop that. You need a lot of lings to prevent that naked Marine attack from doing anything. What is it, 10 Marines that were coming up? So manages to get away with just 1 sunken colony at the front. There's a lot of injured SCVs in this mineral line, but the medic is in there, healing out now. Coming in with a big clutch, 9 mutas. But that's way too many turrets. Speed has reacted very well to this. He's got the turrets in kind of an interesting position. 3, you know, in a line like this, rather than a lot of Terrans you'll see put them in a line like that. Kind of a horizontal line. to defend more surface area of the base, right? That defends more surface area of the base, but this, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the reasoning is here rather than building it like that. I guess it protects more of the mineral line. Build it that way. I'm not sure. I guess building it through here would actually mess up the gas, but you can stagger them and then it'll allow for SCVs to dip in between. Base up in top left-hand corner, you can see Soma's definitely working with some new ideas. He's trying something out. Putting that base up on high ground. He's trying to see how he can bring this sort of older school style of play where you're taking the base on high ground and trying to defend with lurkers. A much later third than what we see in the modern era. You take that low ground third and then try to hold with sunken colonies and later lurkers, but he's trying to make this style work against the ultra modern style of speed, going up into 4 racks and very quick factory. It's got to be like a 7-minute factory there, so he's going to be right on curve to have a huge wave of bio come out. And he's also going to have vessels coming up quite soon, unless he wants to go Valkyries first. We'll have to see about that. Hive is already on the way. He had some scans, so I'm sure he's aware of the hive coming up now. And so he'll probably just go straight into science vessels. But I've seen crazier moments from Speed. I've seen him do wackier things. He could go for Valkyries still. It's a possibility. Has a lot of lings here. And he just whittled down this Marine force by quite a lot. Big reinforcement train comes up. And so he's not going to break this just yet. But if he gets a few more good volleys on these Marines, he could wipe this out potentially with all the lings if he engages this properly. One after the medic. Medics don't have too high of energy. Really can't afford to stim a lot of times, maybe once or twice. Now coming into the natural. We'll fly by. Might be able to get the delay on this science facility. That's possible. All of the bio forces are actually coming home right now, which is interesting. He decided to run all the way back with this bio, and the mutas are just buying a ton of time. He's gonna dip out just before the Marines can get there to cut off his escape, so that's good for Soma, but he doesn't get too much damage out of that. Gets a few SCVs, slows down speed a little bit. Slows down that science facility just a tad. Hasn't started his irradiate just yet, but more importantly, he pulled the Marine pressure back. He pulled this big group of Marines back into the main, bought himself some time so that he can move out on the map, and he actually didn't bring the lurkers with him, which I'm a bit surprised about. If he brought those lurkers forward, he might have been able to get some sort of hold position lurker play, but he's probably busy starting all these very important upgrades. Adrenals on the way. We've got Consume, Armor, Nidus is being connected. That's a lot of actions that Soma is taking right now. So it's a little bit difficult to also move your army and try to set up for hold position lurker. Now it's not even an option with the science vessels out here, so we're going into a more normal follow-up from here. I think that both players are relatively even, although maybe a slight advantage to Soma, being as he's already got an advantage in his worker count overall, and he has a pretty nice setup at the front. I don't think he's going to be broken. He's going into Defiler. He's going to come down and take his 4th base already. This is a little bit dangerous though, with sending all the lurkers over here, because there's going to be 2 irradiates for sure. Consume is just about complete, but there's only going to be 1 lurker left after these 2 irradiates, which could be problematic. Maybe he could bust through that. Don't have any drop ships just yet, going full on for those science vessels. And Irradiate is just about to finish. Irradiate Irradiate is now done. I was saying about these lurkers, it's going to be difficult to unburrow and run up into this Nidus Canal. I'd like to see him kill these eggs to make things a little bit easier to path. Kill the eggs at the other part back here as well. Does help. Are these dropships? No, there's no dropships. Just pure science vessel marine production. SKT. SK Terran is going to be the answer to Soma's slow and methodical push towards Ultralisk in this late game situation. Got a Dark Swarm over here as well. I'm not sure what that's all about. It's a bit of a funky Dark Swarm, but I guess it is what it is. One lurker at this natural. Guys, it's scary. You got one lurker there. Things start to fall apart. They fall apart very quickly. It's not like you can just, you know, right the ship easily once this thing starts to capsize. If Speed makes a breakthrough, the dominoes start to fall. He's already got his 4th base online. He's got his upgrades cranking away as well, although not too far ahead of where the Zerg upgrades are at the moment. +1's already done, and a +2 is about halfway complete. So if he makes a mistake, like doesn't start his +3 right away, we could see a situation where Soma might be able to catch up in upgrades. That's not going to be good. If that ends up happening for Terran, SKT style, so important to keep those upgrades and keep that upgrade advantage rolling. Not really bunching up the lurkers. Maybe he got busted recently by Speed with the D-Matrix Firebat play and just doesn't even want to risk it. He's got so few lurkers, man. It's kind of wild. A lot of hatcheries coming up. Ultras are on the way already. He's just totally ready to start this Ultralisk switch. Last game, he didn't have the Ultras out in time. Ultras were a bit late, and it really did cost him. And this time, he's getting the Ultras out early and make some good use out of those. As a Defiler coming down, gonna get the Dark Swarm and a Lurker underneath, and it looks like that'll be enough to push back Speed for now, but he's starting battle cruisers and he's continuing to get value out of these irradiates. Ultras are finally out. Battle cruiser triple starport. 3rd starport is just finished up. And the battle cruisers are probably just going to be sent directly over towards this natural. That would be my guess anyway. Setting up some more production over at top, or at bottom left, I think is a great idea for Speed at this point. Even just getting a couple of factories and starting to make masses of tanks on that high ground is going to make it so difficult for Soma to put pressure on him. So surprised that he hasn't started to do that yet. I'm also surprised we don't have +3 Carapace on the way. Feels like Soma's had the money for that for a while now, but hasn't made that a priority. Gonna lose 1 or 2 vessels there. Marines are going down on either side. These Ultras are cleaning up with that +2 Carapace, total 4 armor with the chitinous plating, able to stand toe-to-toe with these +2 Marines. Still a ways off of +3 as well, so there's even upgrades for quite some time, and it's really working to the benefit of Soma at the moment. He's gonna have that even upgrade situation for a little bit longer. Battle cruisers coming in now to harass. A lot of drones here to kill, and Soma's not really reacting to this either. If he had a vessel there, he would definitely go for a Dark Swarm, just keep the drones alive at least. But he hasn't brought in anything over here. He should be bringing these mutas down as well. They start to tank while the Scourge deal their damage. Defiler over at the center left. My god, these battle cruisers have so many kills. That's 10 and 6, 16 total kills. Coming in for an eraser trick, possibly. Gonna go for the kill here. Okay, only sending in two Scourge, get one kill. And they certainly could have gotten more. Dark Swarm there. Looks like the Defiler went down, though, before the engagement happened. So this space is going to be cooked. Top center, though, might live. And the battle cruisers have been cleaned. Those are some very cost-efficient battle cruisers, and 3 more are on the way. So I'm struggling to get another base online and make sure that he has stuff everywhere to deal with the battle cruisers and these Marine medic that are wandering around looking for value, looking to shut down bases. Marines backing away from that Dark Swarm. There's still a fallback position here. Scourge coming out, and Ultras are pushing forward. Here comes those 3 battle cruisers. They're going to be a real problem as Soma begins his attack. He's going to start to swing things back onto this Terran side of the map, but he's taking damage at the same time. War Colony finishes up. Looks like that's going to be taken down here pretty quickly, though. Bunkers on high ground. He has some units in there, and Dark Swarm is going to connect. Dark Swarm will be... No, he didn't cast the Dark Swarm. Uh-oh, he was paying attention to the battle cruisers, I think. He definitely could have gotten a Dark Swarm up on this high ground and possibly just busted through every bunker. But now he's going to have to run up this ramp and try to break the bunkers without Dark Swarm and with an army bearing down on him from behind, coming up this ramp and starting to kill these Ultras. It looks like he will not break bottom left. And so Speed is going to maintain control over this other quadrant of the map. It's not a good sign for Soma, but he's got his 5th gas online now, which is very important, as his first gas guys are just now depleted. Great plague there. But the Defiler has been irradiated, though. Hydra could have gone for some kills. Wasn't able to in that decisive moment. Scourge gonna come forward, hitting these battle cruisers once again. BC with 3 kills. Gonna head up towards this main base, it seems. More Scourge gonna connect. Looks like that gets taken care of. More Defilers everywhere, ready to defend this, but no Scourge to actually deal with the vessels flying overhead that are irradiating every one of these Defilers. More Defilers pushing forward. Here comes that group of vessels I was talking about. That one is so low because of all the plagues that have gone down. All he needs is just a few Scourge, or 1 Muta even, to deal with all of this. Big attack here in the middle. Great plague there, landing on a lot of this stuff. The more vessels are going down, and Soma's pushing in for the victory. Feels like Speed has kind of lost control of this game now. It was stopping Soma from getting additional bases for a little bit by killing this in the center left. But he is now running out of minerals on his bases. He's going to be dropping down to 2 base once again. And he really does need to shut down a base of Soma, or he's going to have a very hard time in this late game. Coming forward with the 1 Muta. Oh, 1 Muta. Not getting the best trade there, but it looks like a... Oh, God, that plague. Whew. That plague is disgusting. Has a couple of spore colonies over there. Hoping that he won't have to deal with battle cruisers too much more. Plus 1 ship weapons on the way, but I don't see any battle cruisers in production. Where are they? Okay, there they are. Heading over towards that natural to make some annoying problems for the Zerg at that location. 1 Ultra here. Gonna save the day for now. Double spore colony is pretty good. Oh, another great plague. Flanking this army that's down on the low ground turns out to be an amazing decision. And now Speed's going to be losing his battle cruisers. Bunch of Scourge connecting there. Unfortunately, right-clicking on the spore colony rather than allowing the battle cruiser to gun some of those Scourge out of the sky. Ugh. All these medics going down now. as a very important part of the Terran army. A Darkstorm makes its way down in the bottom left. It's only supported by a few Lings. So if there was a couple of Firebats in these bunkers, it'd be much harder to break, but more Ultras make their way down here. They're gonna be busting through, no problem. Speed is running out of energy in this game. Just doesn't have many units spilling out anymore, and he's falling behind in supply. Gonna go ahead and attack down into this base, center left. A lot of kills on that Firebat, but it's not gonna last much longer. Oh, like an eraser trick over at that base. Top left natural, but it's too little too late. Even if he killed every drone at this point, I think with just the Ultras and Defilers that are trickling across the map, Soma should be able to end. There's not enough Irradiates to deal with everything, and there's just not enough forces. 100 supply ain't gonna cut it against what Soma is sending out. 3 battle cruisers, spending the last of his money on another wave of battle cruisers, which Soma's been dealing with so well this game. It's pretty clear that all that Speed wants to do with those is send them directly to the natural, and he had a pretty good setup to defend that. Now that setup's been kind of destroyed. If he sends another 3 battle cruisers over to that base, he might be able to do some work. But he's losing vessels in the middle of the map. Here comes a big plague. Hits every Marine with that. If this Ultra gets irradiated, it's going to be insanely beneficial, actually, to Soma, because he just run through all of those units. GG. Speed taps out. Soma gets a well-deserved victory. I think he could have definitely stuck it out and pulled something back like this in that previous game, but you can see he is at a very high level, even when it comes to using more of an experimental build like what we've seen here today. Not fully committed to macro, not fully committed to you know, some sort of all-in either. He's hitting a middle of the road build, and he's making it work against Speed, one of the best, highest pressure Terran players in the world. It's awesome to see. Can't wait to see Soma in this next season of SSL. Let's jump in to our next game. See if these guys can take us to a long ZVT. I want to see a late game ZVT between these two. All right, we're starting this next game, and already a big divergence coming from Soma. I'm gonna go ahead and open 9 pool with an extractor trick. I really like this build. Gives you some options. Is likely gonna scout with this drone and figure out, does he need to make Lings? Does he not need to make Lings? And the answer is probably needs them. There's an 8 racks on the way for Speed, and I understand why Speed is doing this. I thought that maybe he would go for ultra late. Like, I thought he would go for mech, something like a mech switch, maybe in the mid game, or maybe just a full-on mech play, because after losing a game where you were completely, you know, just all in with the, not all in, excuse me, you were just playing completely standard SK Terran, and it just wasn't working, you couldn't get anything done. I would be a little bit demoralized as the Terran player. Might want to throw something kind of out of left field. I might want to try something a little bit crazy. Try and mix things up. I'm then trying to frustrate this drone on the furthest mining patch. And just made 6 Lings gonna go straight across the map. So this is not the way that I would prefer to do this build. Is I like to scout with that early drone. Like, you make a drone, you extract a trick, and then you scout. And then the drone that pops out you mine with, and that way you can kind of get over here and figure out what's going on and decide how many Lings you need to make. If they're not going to put in any aggression to you, then you can just make a single pair of Lings, or even not make Lings at all and get right into your macro. But This is what it is. He's got 6 lings. They did nothing. But DCC is late. This was an 8 racks, so he was slowed down quite a bit. I would say it's relatively even at this point. Not sure exactly where on the curve these two guys are, but I would say it's pretty darn close to even. And so we're gonna have this layer finish up soon. The natural is now done. Command center's only halfway complete. Got a fair number of Marines, but there's no way he's moving out with this. He's sitting here making a barracks, and of course, got an academy on the way. Might want to do that early pressure though. That might be a thing. Try to force out a couple sunken colonies, because when you do a build like this, you build 6 lings, like Soma has done. Building those sunken colonies really hurts your economy. It does not feel good from a position like this. 9 pool, you're very frustrated if you have to build that sunken colony. Gonna take a big chunk out of your build, and so we may see that 5-minute move out. It's getting pretty close. He has the academy finishing up here. We may even see 1 medic, 1 fire bat. 1 medic, 1 fire bat, and move and go. Maybe not. I could be totally off on this. That's just my feeling from where we're at in this game. 1 medic, 2 medics. He's got 8 Marines, and he's just about ready to go out. He is in fact going to start this push with stim finishing. The lings are quite a problem. These are 6 speedlings, can really mess you up if they get in the main base after your army moves. Your army moves out and he builds sunkens at home and then just runs by, gets into the main and starts killing Marines as they pop, and kills the SCV building the engineering bay a couple times. Man, can end up dying very quickly to a Mutalisk counterattack. There's the fire bats popping, and so he managed to delay this a bit by forcing the fire bats out, forcing him to go for those fire bats. Now gonna run around this Marine group, and he's got the 6 mutas in the bag here. They're coming out. They're going to be heading across the map strong. This 1 sunken colony, not even necessary completely, but I think he's glad that he had it. Drone heading over towards that top right-hand corner. And these fire bats are out on the prowl, looking for that drone potentially crossing the map, or maybe even looking to snipe the hatchery. I mean, it's not... Let's be real. He's not going to snipe the hatchery with fire bats, but you can put some annoyance onto the hatchery and then force the mutas to come up and deal with it. You could also park the fire bats like behind or up on this high ground and then wait for drones to come, and then just suddenly stim down at an awkward time and start killing drones. But he deals with them. He gets rid of them. There's now 7 mutas, and so he can start to one-shot things, including SCVs and Marines. As this number grows higher and that +1 attack finishes, we're going to see some aggression out of Soma, but how much will he get? There's only 1 turret here in the main. He's just going to go right after it. Not sure if I agree with this. He does turn and starts to hit these SCVs now. 2 mutas have been killed. 2 mutas have gone down. Quite a few Marines, down to just 5 now, and more Marines are going to arrive. This is not a good trade, I don't think, any longer for Soma. I kind of like the initial attack, but once he went for this turret, it went a little bit raw. It went a little bit wrong for him. So more sunken colonies have finished up. More drones are popping out now, and the muta production continues here for our Terran player. For speed, he's about ready to move out, ready to press forward. Must have range done by now, and factories on the way. This +1's going to finish up, albeit slightly later than the +1 of Soma. Rotating around this army, looking for an opportunity. Oh, Ling there. Oh, that's such a good Ling. Very, very good Ling from Soma to catch on to these Marines that were heading across the map. They're just stimming and going for the base if they can find out at least where it is. And I think he just did see that. No, he didn't see, but eventually he will for sure. Where did that other Marine go? It's over at top center. That might come in handy a little bit later. Going after the turrets. Someone gonna kill quite a bit. And he's keeping this Mutalisk group pretty high on number. Meanwhile, Marine attack coming across the map. Is this just gonna be a base trade situation? He's gonna lose his third, almost certainly. But he might be able to kill enough SCVs to make it somehow worth it. Maybe he can transition into a Defiler push. That's possible, although it is a little bit late. It's already 9 minutes in and we don't have a Queen's Nest or Hydra Den, but he's just diving in now. I'm gonna go ahead and kill these last turrets. There's only 2 more in the natural. The Marines are mostly gonna head back while a few remain to kill this base. And so I think that Speed could win this game. I think he's pretty well off. As long as he just slowly stabilizes and gets a Valkyrie out. He just killed this base and he kills all the drones there. Popping some drones. You really need to cancel those, Soma. Get that money back. Gonna be really low on money going forward. Can't afford to just throw away cash like that, but he's gonna come back in, kill another turret. The Marines have finally returned back home, but as long as he micros this correctly, if he can just run away from these Marines, be where they're not, and deal a lot of damage to these SCVs in the meantime, he could still come out of this okay. He's going to fly through the turrets now, but his Mutalisk count is still very high and he's got more on the way. More links popping out as well. He has no third hatchery and he's trying to do a transition now. Transitioning into this hive play with an evolution chamber on the way as well. I guess he's decided I've done enough damage. I've killed enough SCVs. I've slowed down speed enough that even going for armor is going to be practical in a situation like this. Whenever I play a game like this, I just feel like I need to kill. I need to kill right here, right now. But of course, Soma, a much better player than me. He looks at the SCV count and he says, you know what? I can transition. 2 bases, not that bad. And in fact, I think he's going to be okay. He pops out a lot of Hydras. That's not going to turn into many lurkers with only 2 gas geysers rolling. He can only make the 3 lurkers, and he has the hive going as well. So spending a lot of that gas to try and get this transition going. 2 Valkyries out in the front, or in the main, sorry, natural, defending. Drone heading down towards bottom right, it looks like. Seems like the drone that was sent to top right ended up getting killed off. Then I'll go ahead and find those Marines that killed off his drone and take sweet, sweet revenge for that kill. Lurkers moving out on the map, more being made as well. I just heard a scan go down. He's looking for those additional bases, but in fact there are none. There are no bases. Uh-oh. Lurkers, where are you headed? Good stim and target there. It's gonna force back the lurkers over to Soma's side of the map. We have some Scourge here in the mix as well with the mutas, so he may be able to snipe one of these or 2 of these Valkyries. We'll see. He can get a kill on this. Coming forward with the Scourge. Let's see if he can get the kill. 1 goes down. The mutas are getting absolutely wiped out. That Mutalisk group is gone. And Marines are pushing over here to the 3rd base once again. Just lurkers sitting in the middle of the map are not really going to do much. And the lurkers here, not in the right position. They're going to be pushed back. Lurkers just kind of sitting out in the middle. It's not a great spot for them. Defiler Mound finally gets started. He's going to try and Defiler push over to the front. Can he make it work though? There's now 29 SCVs and a great decision actually from Speed to just start making mines, it makes things so difficult for the Zerg player to get a Defiler push going. If you can get around, go around and behind and start putting mines back here, oh my goodness, is it ever frustrating. A drop is gonna come out as well. That's crazy. He's gonna drop while this Defiler push is going. I think Speed's got this game, guys. I think he's got it in the bag. It was looking really tough for him for a little while. He lost so many SCVs. It was just insane. But with this drop coming in, I think he might got this. Oh, the Scourge go down. The Scourge go down. The drones have been pulled. They're running back home with a few Lings and Lurkers, but the Defiler Mound's gonna be targeted. Oh no, this Defiler Mound's gonna die before this finishes. Scourge come back, and they're just gonna die for free. He is so low on gas, he cannot be throwing away Scourge like this. Some Lurkers move forward, but it's very difficult to move forward when there's mines everywhere. These mines are gonna make it very tough. It's a great mine connection. Lurkers are getting closer, but the hive is going down, and there was no defilers that could pop out. Never able to get a defiler out. And of course, doesn't even have consume, so what's the point of even making a defiler in a situation like that? Lurker burrows, but it gets scanned and killed. A little bit of boxer micro there from Speed. He's got this. It's rare that we see a game come down to such low numbers, especially between these two, but this has been a feisty game. He's even gonna get this Evo chamber. Great positioning on the medics. They don't have much energy though, and with this many Lings surrounding them, eventually they will all perish. Dropship heading out on the map. That's gonna be spotted, but I didn't see any more Scourge. I don't know where those Scourge went. I guess they went after the Valkyries. Maybe they picked them both off. Yeah, I don't see those Valkyries anymore, but man, would he love to have a couple of Scourge just to deal with this dropship. It's going to be landing vultures into his main or his natural. He lost his Spire as well. Oh my god, that Spire went down behind the mineral patches. That's so frustrating. He lost his Spire. He lost his spawning pool and his Defiler Mound. Really, Speed, he knows how to hurt his Zerg, man. That's one thing we can definitely say about this guy. He knows how to put the pain onto a Zerg player, and there it is. GG. Soma taps out, and Speed once again victorious. Looks like we may not be getting that long game that I was hoping for. Although never say never. We got Soma over here at the top right hand corner. Speed over here in the top left. Seems like these guys are messing with some new ideas, like I was saying earlier. Especially Soma, trying out some things. This time he's going to be opening with the 11 hatch build. So again, trying out some different builds against Speed, seeing what works, what doesn't. That last game, seems like he missed one move out across the map. That move that Speed went to go and attack his third. For the second time, it feels like Soma just didn't see that maybe, and he ended up putting himself in kind of a rough spot. He had some pretty good scouting that game though, really. If you think about it, the scouting was pretty on point for the most part. Just one lapse though is going to cost him dearly. And now Speed opening with a new build. This is a CC first from Speed, and he's going to get away with it as well. This is never good to find out about as a Zerg player. We're on Radeon, and it's going to take him a while to get over there and actually spot what's going on. I don't think he even saw that SCV either. No, he did not. So you can't turn the drone and quickly go and scout, see what's happening, but not that it's really gonna matter anyway. He's already kind of committed to making this layer and getting it at the certain timing. And we'll see this in just a moment. He made 2 sets of lings, but it's really not going to do much for him. Unfortunately, he's just going to have to make drones and play from behind. That's the way she goes. Waiting so long on making even a single marine. Wanted to get that gas up and the extra supply depot. Is now going to drop a factory. Interesting. So CC first into factory play, into mech play. We've seen this a lot recently. I've seen it on the ladder. You guys have seen it with me as we've reviewed some of these games, especially games with Flash. He's been messing around with this. I feel like it's definitely a strong build and something that any good Terran player should be mixing in here and there. It's just difficult to deal with, guys. Really difficult to deal with. You get so much momentum with your mech play off of CC first. Very difficult to contain the Terran player and deal with all the different variations, what they can do, right? They can do just a mass factory play and hit you with the giant timing of Goliaths. You really have to be on top of what they're actually up to. Going into double upgrade, or yeah, is it gonna be? No, okay. Supply depot plus armory. Not ruling out the double upgrade though. That is a potential. That is a possibility. We may end up seeing a second armory come up. Engineering bay on the way, of course. We're getting into this Goliath production here shortly. Vulture heading across the map. Had no idea that this is what was coming, so he's just started his sunken colony now. Gonna go ahead and finish that up just in time for this vulture to make its way over to the natural. At least he won't be dealing with, you know, trying to block a vulture or anything like that. He's put enough damage on it. But this is an amazing... Oh, he lost it. He lost the vulture. Okay. Not supposed to lose the vulture, but that's fine. That's fine. No big deal. Mutalisks are going to pop out soon anyway. They probably would have killed that vulture, but it's nice to have it roaming around and preventing bases from coming up, for instance. That can be quite strong. Instead, he's going to send an SCV to try to figure out where that next base will be coming up. There's the drone heading over towards this third, so you could actually deny this drone if you're a little bit more cautious with the initial vulture. Excuse me. Goliaths starting to come out. Feels a little bit slow on the Goliath ad though. Goliath 4 pops right as these mutas are coming in. I guess that's okay. You should be able to hold. As armor coming. And as the mutalisks dive in, time to respond with the Goliaths. Gotta get as much damage on this as you can. 4 or so SCVs went down there. Pretty good first initial harassment. Still a lot of SCVs though, because of that opener. Now Charon boosters is done, so diving in with the mutas is not going to be nearly as good. Going to be taking a lot more damage. There's another 2 SCVs going down. Base is going to be taken over at this kind of awkward location. Generally, when you're going up against mech, taking high grounds is the best. I'm going to take high grounds all over the map. This bottom right is a good candidate. Bottom left is a good candidate. This base is a great candidate as well. It's just so much easier to fight mass Goliath from a high ground than it is to fight on a low ground. If you can put a couple sunken colonies on there, on that high ground, or some hydras, or even just have mutas present to assist the sunken colonies, it can be amazing. Can trade very, very well. Double upgrade, or double expansion on the way for Soma, as he looks to get a little bit wider. He wants to spread this game out a bit more. Not gonna try and end with mutas or anything like that. He's done quite a bit of damage to the SCV lines. He's slowed things down slightly. I don't know if he's happy with the amount of damage he's done, but at least he got something going. And he still has mutas remaining. He's gonna start that armor. But I imagine we're gonna see him switch into Hydra. No, he's not gonna switch into Hydra, huh? He's just gonna build mass muta. Maybe he just goes mass muta and puts drones on gases to get 4 gases going immediately, and then just only builds muta. That might be a possibility. We could end up seeing that. He saw the 5 factories, so he knows that it's most likely just pure Goliath. And so if he makes no sunken, okay, he's making sunkens. I expected him to make no sunkens, only make mutas, and just try to hold like that. Because there's too many bases to defend. You can't defend everything with sunken. If you're gonna go 4 bases, you're not gonna be able to defend everywhere with sunken. So you're gonna have to leave some hole open where your opponent can attack into. He does have the 3rd gas online, but he's lacking on that 4th gas. You can see he's a little bit slow on production right now. He's actually just now getting the drones out, but the attack is already underway. Gonna counter right now, go directly for these missile turrets. Looks like he's got about 2 groups of mutas stacked up here over the natural. He's gonna kill a lot. Seems like the one base that's gonna be targeted is this base over here, which really doesn't have much at it. It doesn't even have the gas geyser made, so it's not the biggest deal, honestly, for Soma to be losing that. And he's got this kind of hidden base down here that's mining really, really well. Soma is looking to be in a fantastic spot as he clears up a bunch more of these Goliaths. And he's going to keep killing SCVs afterwards, too. The train of Goliaths is coming back, but you're not going to be able to save these SCVs. That's way too much damage. Almost at that 1-1 now. This one attack is coming up as well for these Goliaths. Is he going to finally see this? He's going to finally see this. He sees the Overlord, but will he see the creep coming out from this area? He's not going to see it, at least for now. Mutas come forward. This is so many mutas, and yeah, he will just have to GG out. Speed gets taken down by mass muta. Even though he went CC first into mech, I'm scratching my head wondering how Soma did that well. The first swipe that he did when he flew in and killed a bunch of SCVs, maybe that was kind of decisive, getting in there and killing those SCVs and then coming around to the natural, getting a few more kills. He slowed down speed, I guess, just barely enough. Plus this hidden base. I think this hidden base paid off really well for Soma. He sends out a drone to take this one, then he also takes this one and only saturates this one. This is just kind of a decoy base over at center right. Can use it to make mutilas and stuff like that, but he's not really even gonna mine off of it, and then only make mutas. This is really well done by Soma. The triple sunken colony in the natural. I thought that was going to be a mistake and that he was just going to fight the army, but when you just counterattack straight up, I think it makes a lot of sense. And he took down Speed with some great finesse here. Let's jump into our next game. Well, CC first didn't work. What do we got next here? Speed. What are you going to bring out? 8 rack seemed reasonable. It's kind of a strange game, that one. Probably one of the best of the series. Very close game when he did that 8 racks, and Soma opened with 9 pool. 9 pool extractor trick. It's a pretty good build, honestly. I think it's a very strong one. Ah, here we go. Gas build from Speed. That's what I like to see. I've been mixing it up even more in this series by opening possibly 1-1-1, possibly into drop vulture, maybe a speed vulture run by. That's a decent build. The modern era. I also don't mind if he wants to try Wraith, two-port Wraith. I don't think it's the greatest. Against a player the caliber of Soma, it can be pretty good on ladder. I've seen people do very well with it. I've lost to it before. Doesn't necessarily kill, but it just slows you down so much as a Zerg to get all the upgrades and stuff that you need to get, you know, Spore or whatever. Maybe you need more extra Hydras. It slows down your drones so much, and then you get a tank, and then you plop it on high ground, and then you take your expansion, and like even if they attack with Hydras, you're probably going to be able to survive that with the Cloak Wraith plus tank on high ground combination. It's a kind of a filthy build, honestly. It's not something I enjoy going up against, but seems like Zerg players this caliber really have it figured out in a way that I probably never will, being honest. Soma, he's just going along with this build. Nothing out of the ordinary so far, but he knows he needs a sunken colony soon. I'm gonna drop it before that 3-minute 30 mark, otherwise you're gonna be in trouble. And so he's waiting until the last possible second, but he does drop that over here in the natural. Even has the Lings on high ground to make sure that SCV doesn't get the scouting information that Speed desires. He would love to get in there and see the timing on the lair, but alas, he will not have that opportunity. We'll just be a little bit in the dark for now. Gets the Vulture over here, but everything's been blocked. Only building 2 Lings. Or, yeah, only building 2 Lings is pretty darn good. And it is the follow-up into 2-port Wraith. Oh boy. 2-port Wraith. Burrow on the way. That's what I like to see. Burrow is coming up, and so he'll be able to save his drones. I love where he's placed his Lings, by the way. 1 drone on the ramp. Here comes that run by, but the Lings are right there. He's just gonna completely surround and kill that immediately. Does get the 2 drone kills, but 2 drone kills for 2 vultures doesn't feel so good when you're sitting there on 1 base. So the drone count is pretty decent here for Soma. He's done a great job to parry that vulture attack. Again, I really like placing your 2 Lings there and putting 1 drone on the ramp. If they try to run by, you can kind of block with the drone a little bit. Oh god, it's gonna burrow that. Wait, burrow. Wait, what are we doing? Okay, he's gonna burrow them all. A little bit of a panic burrow there. Doesn't want to lose anything. That's okay. Ah, he does lose 1 drone. That's a bit frustrating, but he managed to hide his overlords at least. And so even though he loses this 1, he's going to be not on supply block. And with the second one going down, he'll probably end up supply blocked again, but mutas are coming out now, and they should be able to stop the bleeding at least. Be able to prevent any more overlords falling, unless he finds this one way over there. As this control tower researching, so he's going to be getting cloak soon. But this is not done. Wait a second. Uh-oh. Why are the wraiths all the way over here when the mutas can just fly in? Oh my gosh, he's just going to turn around and run? Oh, that's crazy. I guess he realizes that there should be cloak finishing up here soon, and that's a dangerous situation to be in. I just feel like without the turrets there, you can do a lot of damage, but yeah, I guess he's right. If the wraiths were really close, if they were sitting right there, he could cloak and just run you down. So instead of allowing that to happen, Soma's gonna turn back around, go home, and catch these mutas as they're coming in to harass him. Hasn't lost a drone so far. And there's an overlord up to the north. Oh, he could have actually moved up and maybe done some damage to that. Driven the wraiths into the overlord that was floating just to the north. We will lose another drone there. Oh, why are we pulling out? Okay. He unburrows, but that's because Overlord's speed is done. And the Wraiths are going to start taking a lot of damage as he volleys them down. Just 5 Wraiths to the 8 Mutas. That's a bit of a scary situation. Can he actually get that last hit? No! This Vulture sneaks into the main. And that's going to be quite the frustration here for Soma. He should just burrow and then go right back to work after, but he's going to send everything to the natural and going to go right into this main base, see what kind of damage he can do. No, he sees that very locked down tight on the side of speed, and so he goes back home, clears that up, and he's going to get his drones back to mining in the main base. Bit of a chaotic game thus far. Overlord flying in, sees that there's no CC yet, but does supply block him slightly. Gonna get these drones out once again. Some Overlords on the way. Flyer Carapace is coming up as well. Quite a good chunk of mutas. 11 mutas plus Scourge. Gonna be tough to get this base up. Now, it's not gonna come up for free, that's for sure. 3, 2, 1. Looks like that burns. 2 volleys plus a bit of burn. Gonna kill the turret there. Playing with fire right now. 11 Wraiths in this group. Does get 1 connection with the Scourge. He should be able to fight this. Wraiths shouldn't be able to win straight up against Mutas, but the control is insane. Absolutely insanely good control, and he actually will beat this head on. Unreal. All of the Mutas are going to end up going down. And the Wraiths come out with 6 remaining. Oof, that is really rough. Some drones are going to be transferred. This Overlord will for sure go down. More Mutas pop out. Waiting on that armor upgrade. That's going to help a lot. It's 2 Gemini missiles, right? So you're reducing it twice over. At least that's what I think. I think that's how the interaction goes with the 2 Gemini missiles. It's 10 damage each. And so you reduce that damage by 2. I'm gonna come in, take this fight. He's rejuvenated the number of mutas he's got, whereas the Wraith number hasn't really grown at all. Only adding on 1 more. Trying to get into a science vessel with that next gas coming online. He will eventually be able to make this transition. He needs to get Irradiate as well, though. Once Irradiate is available, then this Mutalist play is not going to be nearly as scary. But until that moment, still a difficult situation here for Speed. He's just sitting back and trying to hold. Trying to stay alive for the time being. Flies in, sees the barracks ad, so he knows that it's not mech follow-up. And that there are going to be Marines on the way. That'll necessitate a Hydra Den, and there it is. Hydra Den coming up. Exactly as expected. Very important that he sees that as soon as possible. That extra barracks. You really need to see that right away. And start preparing with the Lurker transition. Looking for opportunities to fight Speed. Maybe take a fight with his Wraiths, but I mean, Speed's just playing out of his mind. He's just controlling so well with these Wraiths. And he's even bringing them back and healing them up as well. It's almost unparalleled, Speed is with his Wraith control. Only someone like Light can really hold a candle to Speed's overall Wraith control, and even sometimes Light can't even do it, I would say. Really incredible with his micro, and he's even using it in TVP now, getting things done that I never thought were possible with Wraiths in that matchup. But in this matchup, this has a long history. The 2-port Wraith play against Zerg, absolutely viable, and he's making it work pretty well so far. Getting into this big bio switch. Are we gonna have an Evo chamber? Yeah, double Evo follow-up from our boy Soma. He's gonna get a spore colony just for good measure. He's gonna make this transition so he won't exactly have the most anti-air. So those, what is this, 10 wraiths could still become a real issue. And if he's not continuing to make mutas and other anti-air, and the wraiths continue to be a threat, they can come in and do stuff like this. Just instantly gunning down drones one by one. He gets 3 kills so quickly. Mutas are trying to box these in. Oh, he's found the 2 vessels here. Oh my god, the vessels are gonna go down. He does get an irradiate off. They should be able to kill this. Oh my gosh, this irradiate is doing so much damage. What the heck just happened? Complete pandemonium there as he tries to deal with those 2 vessels and the wraiths afterwards. His hydras are going to go down purely to the wraiths alone. Base over in this top right hand corner means that there's still a pretty good chance here for Soma, but this move out is looking fierce. Fearsome. Doesn't have range, but it's about to finish. +1 is on the way as well. Hydras are dying here and there. In fact, hydras are going to start popping out and dying instantly as they spawn. More hydras have been made over in this location, but I think this will be the killing blow. 1 sunken colony is not going to be enough to deal with all of these wraiths and the marine follow-up. GG is called. Soma falls apart under the pressure that Speed can bring. You'll love to see Speed pull out this build every once in a while. He's so good with it. He is so good with wraiths overall. The control is mind-numbing. And it made Soma's head spin in this game. You can just see how bamboozled he was in that last fight with the 2 vessels. I really thought he was going to get an amazing trade. That he was going to be able to kill both vessels with just 4 Scourge and then attack the wraiths, surround the wraiths and try to finish them off as well. But it went completely sour when he didn't get the correct cloning onto those 2 vessels. And their radiate just did so much damage. So GG, another great game. Speed taking yet another win. Heading into our next game. Got Soma down here in the bottom left. Speed in the top left. And I wonder if we're going to get more craziness out of this series. We're going to return to a little bit of normality here. Starting out with that barracks, and appears like an 11 hatch is coming out of Soma. Shying away from the 12 hatch. Makes sense. Just on the ladder, it's so common to see 8 racks. Even 2 racks in the middle of the map is pretty common. And so taking a more careful approach. I mean, it's not the most careful. 11 hatch gets you just a tiny bit faster of a pull. He's gonna have the gas at the same time though. They built the drone before making the gas, so there's not a massive amount of difference between this and a 12 hatch. It just gives you just that like, little bit more if you need to deal with a Terran player putting on that early aggression. You're still probably going to be screwed if it's a 2 racks in the middle of the map, don't get me wrong, but if you play your cards right, there might be a way to survive. And even now, kind of optimizing his build. Only makes the 1 set of lings, as he hasn't seen any marines coming in yet. There are only a couple of marines out at the moment. It's a 1 racks fast expand coming here for Speed. Great location for the Overlord, by the way. It's just barely going to catch the edge. Okay, actually they move into vision pretty clearly for Soma to see. And these Lings are gonna back off in time. Not gonna be baited into the Marines by the one SCV. And now with 4 Lings coming up, can he actually get the kills on this? We'll just back away. Doesn't want to take that fight. Knows that Speed's very good at these early game micro plays. He's just so good at pulling back his Marines properly and just taking the best trade imaginable. So not going to risk it there. Just going to push those Marines away, and fire comes down here in the main. Ling's going to head over towards that natural. He may want to pull the Overlord a little bit closer, although this is still such a great spot. Not sure if he wants to take that risk. Might be better just to have the Overlord there. Regardless, he may want to move this Overlord. Actually, having it right over this position there is fantastic if you want to try and take your base down here. It just gives you a little extra warning time if Marines head down this direction or come through this way right here. So I think the Overlord placement is pretty darn good. 2 racks into an academy. So having those 2 racks a little bit earlier means there's a potential for a push, but with naked Marines, they're not going to do too well against a single sunken colony. So it seems like Soma has gamed this out pretty well. He says, all right, Terran players are so prone to go for these Marine move outs these days. Maybe I just always make a sunken colony. Maybe I do that. I just make a sunken colony. I mean, even with this many Marines, you can't really break a sunken. Like, it's close, but as long as the Zerg player throws those Lings at you, the 3 Lings at you, and even you can pull the drones as well, try to just put a little DPS on it, you're not going to kill that sunken colony. It's just so beefy, and the attack speed is so low without stim. You so often see stim. It's funny. Stim is so common, right? Almost every engagement, Terran players are going to have it. And so some things it doesn't even look right to you that the Marines won't be able to kill something when they don't have stim, because you're so used to seeing them just blast through it. But the sunken colony is an insanely good weapon against naked Marines due to the fact that it 2 shots and the Marines take so long to chunk through it without their stim. So he builds a second sunken colony out of a abundance of caution. I don't hate that. I don't think it was totally necessary, but the mutas now are going to be forced across the map, or sent across the map, to deal this damage. Trying to look for some SCV kills. Hasn't really gotten too much so far, but he's pushing back these Marines, and we're going to have a factory started here. 6-minute 30 factory, quite early on the side of Soma, or on the side of Speed, excuse me. Soma diving in once again, looking for some kills. The Marines have been forced back. We're gonna head all the way back home. I don't know if he did a scan on the natural, but if he did, he would see that 4 sunken colonies are coming up. So yeah, this is the right call to come back, but Soma taking such a good trade at the top of the ramp. This is an excellent trade, preventing the Terran player from getting back into his own main and just killing so many Marines. Now there's a possibility of just taking over this area and not allowing Speed to reclaim this position. You can see Speed is desperate to get turrets up. He knows that that is absolutely necessary to hold this spot. There's no third base just yet. Soma's dumping everything into mutas. He does pop out a round of drones, however, and so we should see a transition soon. Just this base is quite late. You can see double starport already on the way, and there's no sign of transition. Okay, there it is. There's the first signs. Hydroden, Queen's Nest, third base on the way. Still a bit of a tough spot for Soma. He's done a great job of lowering the Marine count, but at what cost? A very slow third. A lot of sunken colonies were made, and the transition is well behind the Terran player. We also don't have an Evo chamber on the way. So these upgrades are going to continue to stack. That upgrade advantage is going to continue to stack up. What is the answer to it for Soma? Well, he's going to start by just microing his heart out. Trying to deal damage at this natural. That's so many turrets, though. Look at how many we've got. 5, and then there was 2 more. So 7 total turrets at this natural. Just be aware of Soma's tendencies and Zerg tendencies in general when they end up getting a little bit behind like this. They don't have that quick transition. And they need to get some damage done. They're mostly going to be relying on mutas to make that happen. And just keeping up the turret production and making this transition as quickly as possible is going to put more pressure on Soma than anything else. Now some irradiates are going to start to pour out here. Science vessels are being made. Irradiate is going to start soon. Diving through and going after this natural base. Starting to kill a few extra SCVs. But where are the lurkers? I don't even see lurker upgrade. Did he start lurker upgrade? I certainly hope he did. Oh my gosh, he did not. Lurker upgrade has been forgotten. Wait. No, it hasn't. Oh my gosh, okay. He has lurker. That happens sometimes. It happens to the best of them. Happens to the greatest players and the weakest players. And by weakest, I mean me. It's absolutely happened to me before, but seems like Soma is going to be able to hold on to this position, at least for the time being. Lurkers will spawn and go ahead and burrow up on this high ground. Not going to be able to get up there. Now, when I saw that one lurker in production, I thought that was a lurker upgrade that was on the way, but he is going to be able to defend that base. Would have been hard without the lurker eggs, I tell you that. As soon as the Marines get up onto that high ground, my goodness, things get out of control quickly. Lings and Mitas going for the block on this extra base is about to come up. Speed really wants to start expanding, but he's not going to be able to easily. And so we're in kind of a situation that we've seen many times before, but it's not as common as it used to be. Zerg sitting up here on high ground with a few lurkers at his third base, looking to push down onto low ground, while the Terran continues to irradiate and just pressure as much as possible this Zerg player. Groove Spines on the way. That's interesting. I wasn't expecting Hydralis upgrades, but there they are. Hydralis upgrades on the way. Is he going to be playing Hydralis Defiler from a position like this? I don't think it's a bad play. In fact, I think it's a very good play. Hydralis Defiler is fantastic composition. But is it the right one? Is it the right choice for this situation? Where are the lurkers? He needs to get them through the Nidus Canal and over to this high ground. He's busy dealing with this army over here, but there's only one lurker left. Oh my god. Oh, there it is. Dark Swarm. He's got it. Lurkers burrow. They will be able to save this base. That was close, though. That was a little bit too close for comfort. Push out with the lurker and Defiler Dark Swarm. Gotta take this natural. Meanwhile, preventing the third base once again, slowing down speed as much as possible. Making it difficult for him to start expanding and taking his attention away from these attacks. Very critically. It's not like as a Terran player you can just continuously attack and cast Irradiates over and over again, plus hit your build and try to deal with harassment on your side of the map. Something's gonna pop somewhere. Something's gonna go wrong. And so I think that Soma has done a good job of exploiting that. He has one lurker over at this natural, but 3 sunken colonies and a spore is a pretty good defensive setup. 4 dropships about to get loaded and possibly sent into this main base. I hope he scans ahead of this. Otherwise, his Scourge might just end one of these drops immediately. Here he comes. Gonna drop directly in here. One of the dropships will go down right away. Looks like a second dropship may end up falling as well. Darkstorm comes down. Triple Evolution Chamber under threat right now. Hydralisks are clearing up most everything. But these Marines down in this corner are going to be quite difficult to deal with. They've got +2 attack. And the Hydra number is not that high. Where are the lurkers? Where are the other units? He's going to go ahead and consume one of his own drones just to get this going. A drop coming in. Unfortunately, not enough Scourge to deal with that. And so this drop will get off, but more lurkers, Hydras coming forward. That's going to be enough to deal with this follow-up drop. And basically everything that Speed has been eliminated. He's got nothing else on the map. He's just sending out a Bioforce now. He's got 2 drop ships to potentially try and continue this pressure. And he's floating out his CC, but Soma has equivalent numbers of workers. He just popped a big round of drones. He's going to go ahead and get this 4th gas rolling. And he's got the triple upgrade finishing up. So a lot of good things are going well for Soma at the moment. He has some semblance of map control. At least there's a lack of Terran map control at the moment. It's not like Terran can just park outside of the bases and contain Zerg. Instead, he's going to have to carefully poke in and try not to lose these try to lose these vessels as he goes for irradiates on the defilers. It's not going to work. Defilers stay alive. Just very important. Can he get this big plague? Oh my goodness, where's the big plague? You should be able to get it here. There's the big plague on all of these bioforces. It's a shame he didn't get the vessels as well, but now Speed has to tuck tail and run with his tail between his legs. 2 drop ships coming in. They're headed for the natural. I don't see any Scourge in position. And Soma's gonna see this now and start to respond. Where are his forces? Most of them are up here in the main. You're gonna be able to catch the Marines being dropped off to deal damage to the main base, but in the natural, still taking a lot of damage here. A lot of drones have gone down. Good Dark Swarm there. Just try and keep things alive. There's another Defiler going to be irradiated and killed. This is a pretty good force of bio, but you're not going to be able to break through all these Sunkens, I don't think. Maybe, just maybe. I think all the medics are out of energy. No, they actually do have a little bit of energy left. They're going to cleave through these units down here, but the natural is going to be busted open. Meanwhile, an attack coming over towards this natural. Can he actually get through all this? Just Hydras and Lings with a single Defiler. That will eventually be shut down. So definitely Speed getting the better end of this trade. However, this is not a dead base. He's kept this alive. Is he going to kill the extractor? Oh, he gets it. He kills the extractor. Another irradiate there, or another plague there. And the irradiates are going to finish off the final few lurkers and defilers that were pressing in. This natural going to get back up and mining now. Speed looking towards a 4th base, but he's only just a moment ago got his 3rd base online, so they're really struggling for bases. Looks like Scourge are going to try to run forward, get on top of all of this. Lurkers targeting properly are actually going to be able to kill the majority of these Marines. And wow, the push into the natural ends this game. That was an intense struggle between these two titanic players. 1,700 minerals in the bank, though, for Speed. He had such a good thing going over at this natural. He was dealing so much damage. I'm really shocked to see that he wasn't able to hold on to the counter. This is one thing that I see a lot of Terran players make as a mistake, is not building bunkers while they're dealing massive damage to the Zerg player. If you're ever breaking a base, killing a base, getting in on a drone line, something like that, dealing massive damage to the Zerg, they're going to be so badly hampered that the only real recourse is just to go for an immediate counterattack. If you're not able to get damage going onto the Terran when damage is hitting you and your economy as a Zerg player, then there's really no hope for you. So whenever I see Terrans dealing damage, it's like, build bunkers, man. Just start building a bunch of bunkers, rally everything up onto your high ground or something. Just live. Just live. You've done enough damage. You don't need to get fancy and try to optimize everything. He's got 1,700 minerals in the bank. What's 300 into bunkers, right? I mean, of course, he left the game, so his mineral shot up there at the end as all those Marines and stuff kind of get canceled or whatever. I believe that's what happens, is your minerals go up at the end of the replay. Let me just check here. We'll just go ahead and make sure that that's the case. Yeah, he's sitting here at the end. Looks like he spends his money. He's at about 1,000. And then right as the tap out comes, all of that money is kind of refunded. Certainly could still afford to place down a couple of extra bunkers here and just try to stay alive. Taking a look at the work account, it was still pretty darn good for Soma, but he's severely hiccuped by this. That was a real slowdown, and Speed definitely had a chance still in this game. A lot of vessels here. If he had a couple of bunkers down while this was happening, then this kind of lurker Hydra, not very strong, not very dedicated push. Like, we've only got a few Hydras pouring in here and there. There's not even a Defiler coming. As long as he radiates Defilers before they make it to the natural, you're not going to be able to push into bunkers with lurker and Hydra. But I digress, guys. We're going to jump into our next game. On to the next one. Soma, top left. Speed, top right. And a wall is going to be made over here. On, what was this map called again? I actually can't remember. It's been a little while since I said it. Was it Pantheon? That might be it. Another 11 hatch coming out of Soma. Really partial to this build. We'll see if he continues to use it right up into SSL. Not that big of a divergence from 12 hatchery, but it's just been such a standard for so long. 12 hatchery. It's been in the meta for absolutely ever. So seeing that go out, or at least be bucked, the trend be bucked there, I mean, it's interesting. I wonder how it's going to play out for him. It's been doing rather well so far. I haven't really seen any games where someone just fell flat in the early game. Hasn't really lost to rushes for the most part, or bunker rushes or anything like that, which you would imagine there would at least be a few games like that in such a long ZVT series. Oh my gosh. Hydrone, get him. Oh, 3 HP. One more hit and he will die. 2 more hits and the SCV dies. They should get it with the secondary drone. He's now going to be chasing this SCV. I think he's got it. Yeah, okay. Never mind. Lost control there for a second. Really have to be on top of things if you want to get this kill. Oh, does get it. All right. There it is. The battle is over. SCV has lost. And the scout has been denied for the time being. But unfortunate for Speed. Continuing with this build, man. It is interesting to see Speed stick with this in such a dedicated fashion. Every time he opens one rack's fast expand, he goes for this. 2 barracks, gas, academy. Builds a ton of marines. Doesn't really move out unless he goes for a naked marine move out, which is he has done that a few times. But he's not going for like the 5-minute plus or 2 medic move out so much. That's not really, I don't think, his goal with this build. I think the goal is to get a quick stim, quick range, and get into 3 racks, 4 racks around there. So far, he's been doing 4 racks a lot and just having like a massive mid game, just having a really good timing to deal with the muta pressure. Having that 12 marines ready and waiting with stim and range right as the mutalisks arrive, I think that's really the goal of this build, to meet force with force. And this time, actually, he's gonna make a single fire bat and a medic. He's pushing out this time, not messing around. 4-minute 40 is crazy early. A double sunken colony is on the way. Long before the spire is done, the medic marine gonna be making its way to the front. Second sunken colony not gonna finish in time, and there might be a moment here where he hits the stim button. There he is. He's gonna go for it. He's just gonna run by. Oh my goodness, that's crazy. But the drones are right on top of this. He is actually gonna be able to block that. Really good drone control here overall by Soma. He's gonna target that 1 marine. He actually targets the marine that's being healed by the medic. That medic had 1 HP. Oh my gosh, if he just targeted the medic, he could have killed all this so quickly. But he's gonna have to pull back the drones. He's gonna try and run around, kill this freaking medic, man. What are we doing? What is happening? Kill the medic. Oh my gosh, this medic at the front is doing so much work, body blocking and doing all that good stuff. Finally kills that medic. He will get rid of that marine. Oh my gosh, 3 HP on the mutalisk. He almost got a mutalisk kill as well. This damage was pretty next level. 17 drones only remaining to the 31 SCVs. Plus he's building just masses of turrets behind this. Look at all the turrets that are coming up right now. Speed knows what he needs to do. Just survive. He already has an armory on the way. He's going to start that starport here in a second. Starport gets started. He's spent so much money on turrets. It would be really tough to get that starport out, but he manages to sneak it in. Meanwhile, Soma just making drones. Only drones after these initial 6 mutas. He wants to force as many turrets as possible, so he's kind of dipping in little, just here and there. Making Speed a little bit scared. And look at how many turrets he's made. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 750 minerals. Yeah, that's right. Quick math, baby. On stream as well. Well, not on stream, but live for me. I'm live right now. We're doing this live. During the cast is what I should say. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. Drone down here at the bottom left. Looks like he's actually... Wait, is he going to take the natural? Interesting. Okay. Well, that firebat's going to find it. Quite annoying. I wonder if he's going to hide it. If you hide the firebat right on this high ground, that's so nasty. What a dirty, nasty play that is. But instead, he's actually going to start hitting the hatchery. And so just 1 mutalisk is going to be broken off. Send home the damaged one. I can go deal with the singular firebat. Double starport finishing up. We've got a Valkyrie about to pop out. And Lurker upgrade has not started. There it is. Lurker upgrade on the way now. But there's going to be like triple Valkyrie, maybe 3 Valkyries done, 4 Valkyries done before the Lurker upgrade even finishes. And then you got to wait for the Lurkers to actually morph, which takes even more time. So I'm a little bit worried for Soma in a situation like this. He's going to have to control crazy well. He doesn't have any Scourge, so it makes me feel like he doesn't know with their Valkyries. He starts his evolution chamber. I don't know if he's ever going to get to an upgrade in this game, because triple barracks with double starport Valkyrie. This is going to come out. It is going to hit like a truck. He sees the Valkyries now, and he's making a dash for it. Double Scourge coming. 4 Scourge on the way. These mutas are going to loop around, I guess, head for the main. Maybe they can try to draw the Valkyries into a bad position. But the chances of that working, it's slim to none. He's going to have to do some amazing control here. The splitting is pretty good. His 4 mutas on the top side are going to be split off and head back home on their own. Lurkers being made on the outside of the base. These mutas over there are going to be picked off. Scourge coming forward. This engagement, can it go the way that Soma needs it to? He's killed a lot of these Marines, and the Lurkers are about to hatch, but now they're completely surrounded. He's gonna burrow. Oh, can he actually get a spine off? He gets 1 spine, and GG is called. Great play here by Speed. That was a crazy move for him to just run by the sunken colony and go for the main base. It was a great response though from Soma to pull the drones right to the ramp and block. But man, imagine if he had targeted the medic and just put 1 hit on that medic. He could have killed it immediately, and then the Marines, they don't have as much oomph in that sort of situation, so he could have had a much better transition into Mutalisk. He wouldn't have lost all the mining time he did in his main base, but it is what it is. Great play by Speed. Excellent follow-up. So hard to defend a follow-up like this. You have to get Lurker, and if you don't have it in time, you're just pretty well cooked. Speed takes another win here. Looking very strong and kind of unpredictable as well. It's very hard to nail this guy down with all the different styles that he's capable of doing. Really throwing it all out there for us this series. We're going to jump into our next game. Here he is, Soma, spawning in the top right-hand corner. Speed in the bottom right purple. I like it. You can really see the plagues when the Terran player is purple. Kind of hard to see actually when Terran is yellow. We saw that in an earlier game. I think that it definitely shows a little bit better with some of those darker colors. But anyway, another 11 hatchery coming out here for Soma. Sticking with his guns. Are we going to see a similar game from Speed once again? Where's that second? Oh, actually, CC, then second Rax would be the build. Spawning pool, drone, extractor. I'm going to learn this build, guys. I'm going to copy this build from Soma. Trying to make it work on the ladder. I haven't been playing much lately, but I am planning to play a lot more coming up soon. I'll be streaming some of my adventures. A bit on SOOP, a bit on YouTube and Twitch as well. And just trying to get to that next level. I was also thinking about doing some teaching streams or some learning streams. So getting someone to come in and kind of tutor me. I'm not sure exactly who it'll be, but some sort of strong Zerg player I'll reach out to and look for some guidance, and I might stream that. That'll be good educational content for some of you Zerg players out there. You can kind of watch me learn and maybe learn right along with me. And so getting a great moving shot on this SCV has actually put a lot of damage on it. Oh, but the drone! Oh, great body block there from Speed. Someone really needed to click through the through onto the mineral patch to go past the SCV rather than right into it. But it takes got a little bit of extra damage and allows the Marine to finish it off. I don't see a second factory, so this time he's mixed it up. He's gone for academy. Well, this is more of a traditional academy rush. We'll probably see a barracks now. Well, this is like right from the textbook. 2 racks academy rush. And so we're probably going to see that 5-minute move out. A lot of drones coming from Soma. Is he going to build that sunken colony again? I'm curious. I'm going to have that sunken colony come up. We did have to build quite a few lings this time. 6 lings. Sunken colony is not cheap. He also lost a drone. Maybe he cuts corners a little bit here. Oh, going into 3 racks. Okay, I take it back. 3 racks on the way. And so it's not the stock standard to the academy rush. Stock standard academy rush with the 5-minute timing. Instead, he goes for this extra racks. And so I think we might see him just sit here and not move. Wait for the scan, and that really good timing like we were talking about earlier. 4 medics, like 12 marines, stim and range ready right as the mutalisks come in for the attack. Engineering bay finishing up now. Gonna be ready. Start throwing down those turrets here in a moment. Drone heading out in a curious direction. Where are you heading there, Mr. Drone? We got the Pink Panther of drones heading down to this bottom left. He's sleuthing his way to a very interesting spot. And now the push out. Not really a full push out from Speed, rather just gonna position himself in a spot where he could immediately put on pressure to Soma, but Soma gets in right before the turret is done. Manages to kill that SCV. That's quite annoying, forcing the Marines back up into the main. Now the Marines are gonna start to head out again. Man, I really wish we would see these guys kill these eggs a little bit earlier on. Eggs are so annoying. You can see so many units kind of bunching up there, and it's making it very hard for the Marines and medics to get into that main base to actually save anything. One sunken colony being made. 2 lings bottom left. Mita's looking for opportunities, but looks like someone's about to make a big opportunity for himself by building a ton of sunken colonies and then heading in. I'm gonna go ahead and kill this turret, but he's taking a lot of damage from some of these Marines. The Marines in the mineral line did quite a lot. Now there's just barely 7 mutas to try and one-shot these SCVs. He's gonna get a couple, but not enough to warrant all of these sunken colonies he built back at home. He was expecting the straight up counter attack from Speed, and that the sunken colonies would be able to hold it while he was going to work and trying to push Speed off of his natural. However, that's just not paid off. Now he's kind of wasted a bunch of his drones and a lot of his money with hardly anything to show for it. He's reduced that SCV count just a tiny bit, but the tech path is still well underway for Speed, and he's going to be getting more barracks here shortly as he surpasses that 35 SCV count. He will get his second gas as well, and he's actually opting for another Valkyrie transition, realizing that Soma's going to be stuck on mutas a little bit longer, and his play didn't really work out. He didn't get the value that he wanted, and so switching into Valkyrie right now and using this big Marine force he might have a moment where he can suddenly push across the map and just surprise Soma before lurkers are even out. Lurker upgrades on the way, but there's going to be 4 Valkyries in this game very, very soon. Valkyries build exceedingly fast, and so they're going to be popping out here in a moment. And once they reach this front, these mutas are not going to be able to slow things down. We might see a repeat of our last game with Soma kind of falling a little bit behind. He's a lot less behind in this game, but he might be still up against a wall as these Valkyries come out and try to deal some damage. Is he going to get one of them? He does get one Valkyrie. The second Valkyrie gets an extra volley, but this is a reasonably healthy mutalist clump, and there's only one Valkyrie remaining. 2 more are about to pop, and he could go ham with those. Once he has that, once you've got about 3 to 4, that's when it becomes very scary to engage with mutas. Lurker upgrade is done. Lurker eggs are on the way at both of these bases. Sunken colonies are being made down bottom left as well. I'm not sure that he even knows about that, to be honest. I don't think he does. I don't think Speed is aware of that base. See, he's scanning top left. Kind of wondering what's going on for the moment, but we may be able to figure it out here soon. More Valkyries coming. Some mutas making their way into the natural are actually going to go after one of those Valkyries. They kill a Valkyrie, but he loses quite a few mutas, and he takes a lot of damage on the rest of this mutalist clump. Valkyrie number has finally reached 4, but lurkers are now out, and we have to switch. We got to switch up the game plan. Starts a second engineering bay. Where is the science facility, though? There it is. Science facility is done. Drop ships are on the way. Hatcheries are being made in this main base. Defiler mound is done. Does he have consume? No way. There's consume. Started now. But I don't think it's going to be finished in time for this drop ship coming in. I hope he's got the Scourge ready. And indeed he does. It's all going to come down to these connections. Armor in the natural is being researched. And he just sent a Marine down to bottom left. Okay, he knows. He knows now. Speed can confirm there is a base down in bottom left. But he's not ready to head that direction to deal with it. He's still thinking about this drop and getting it off in this main base. The 4 Valkyries are going to be perfect cover for this incoming attack, but there are a lot of Scourge here. Scourge are going to immediately connect on one of these drop ships. The rest of the drops are going to be completely surrounded and absolutely mopped up. GG is called immediately. Just going to tap out, realizing what a terrible situation he was in after losing all of his Valkyries. He's going to lose this drop ship and everything inside of it as well. Excellent play here from Soma. I like the mix-up of sleuthing it out, sending a drone down to bottom left and taking a sneak base. In a long series like this, throwing a curveball at your opponent like that is the mark of a great player. Really enjoyed this series, guys, and I hope you did too. That's the last game. That's it. We're done. Soma versus Speed. That's another one for the books. We'll probably have more coming up in the future, so make sure you subscribe. Also, make sure to support my other content. The Best of 7 series is going to be coming out soon. You will see it here on the channel, but I would really appreciate your support if you could go over there and take a look at it. Make an account, follow, and come watch the live stream. I'll put a link in the description. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.